And welcome. Right, all new scenario using the Rapid Fire Canadian in Normandy, scenario 2, which is the push on Carpiquet Airfield. I'll give you a wee bit of information about the game as we go along, when, where, how, so on, the history of it. But I more want to talk about what I want to do as I go forward, you know. Just closing curtains. Right, so I'm just looking at all my videos. I'm not trying to, this is not a financial endeavour, because them days are long gone. All the changes on YouTube and everything else. This is more for my peace of mind and sanity, me doing this, because I'm always burning with ideas. If I'm not doing art, I'm doing Wargame. If I'm not doing Wargame, I'm doing fantasy gaming and Dungeons and Dragons, Conan, RPG, painting, digital art, normal art as in acrylics, oils, watercolours, just too much of everything. So I don't really get much time for doing this. This is my favourite part of my hobby, making all the houses, the dioramas. Really started because of COVID. You know, one positive thing that came out of COVID. Definitely give me a lease. To get into my hobbies more, you know, while help look after the brother, the disabled brother. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do less, because I answer to no one. No one's my boss. I'm not financially getting rewarded, so I'm just going to do less. But I'm definitely going to try. Got a couple of things in mind, in my head, that I would like to try. I just realised that's the wrong roof in that house. Let's see. It's off one of my other 28 mil. Yep. So yeah, I'm going to concentrate just on what I intended to do from the start, but I just get carried away with myself trying to get the games finished and trying to get them out, because I mean, somebody watching one turn every week, I'm sure it must have bored people to death. So what I'm going to do is do one complete turn, as in phase 1, phase 2, join them together, make a long video, but I'm going to add in all the history and the old footage that I was doing at the start. I'm going to fix up my digital explosions, machine gun fire and stuff. I do some in Blender, the 3D software, but yeah, I'm going to have to do a few different ones, because I'm going to have airplanes now. Which leads me to, I have to build up that Spitfire, actually, before I start the game. And I've got the model for it, well, the kids bought me it, so I need to get that built up for this game. Now, what I intend to do is use 2 different cameras, because I did notice that the footage is just static, looking down at the battle board like it is now. You're wondering what I'm doing. I'm looking for my charging cable because the second phone is nearly done. Yep, get that charged. So yeah, so I'm gonna have the overhead camera, and then I'm gonna use the the older phone that I had, phone camera for close-up shots and stuff. And then I'll combine them all together and make a more, hopefully a more entertaining video, a more interesting video. Because this looking down arc is just boring people to death. You know, it's fun when I'm sitting playing it, but I'm sure when you're watching it, you're probably not getting the same experience. So yeah, we'll go back to the actual scenario. So this is scenario 2, the push for Carpiquet Airfield. Probably saying that wrong. What really happened at 7:45 a.m. on the 7th of June 1944, the Canadian 9th Infantry Brigade resumed their push inland from Juno Beach. The Stuart tanks of the Sherbrooke Fusiliers led the way forward, by C Company of the North Nova Scotia Highlanders. The other 3 companies of Highlanders followed, riding on Sherbrooke Fusilier Shermans. So with them Stuarts, that's obviously some form of advanced column or recon unit going forward. So initial progress was good, and by 11:50 Braun had been reached. Braun? Oh right, it's not Brun. Though we're calling it Brun, it's Buron. 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 Okay, so Braun had been reached, and by 1 o'clock, C Company had entered Uthi. Okay, I'll let you try and work out. Braun. Uthi. Frankville. Who the hell names these places? Sort this out. SOD. We try to pronounce all these bloody words. Okay, so C Company had entered Uthi, and the Stuarts were in Frankenville. Most of the tank riding infantry dismounted between Buron and Uthi and continued to advance on foot. By now, the Canadian advance had extended beyond the range of the supporting artillery. Unknown to the Canadians, they had run straight into the elements of the newly arrived 12th Hitlerjugend SS Panzer Division. Their advance crossed the path of well-concealed Panzer IV of the 6th and 7th Companies of the SS Panzer Regiment 12. These units maintained superb fire discipline and allowed the Canadians to pass. That is pretty disciplined. If you think you've got a recon unit or a advanced recon unit coming up the road, you know, being sent in as cannon fodder and also to report back, and they're allowed to go through 3 towns while the SS or the German troops had them under scope and not one fired. Wow, that's pretty disciplined, even though near the end of the war they were using irregular troops, you know, young and old. Pretty, if you think about it logically, like, I mean, that's pretty amazing. So So when the Shermans passed Ufi, they were engaged in counterattack by Panzer IVs of the 5th Company Artillery and SS Panzer Grenadiers from the 3rd Battalion. The other German units broke cover and joined in the battle. The Canadian infantry tried to reach Uthi, but were overrun, as were their colleagues in C Company, who had occupied the village. The Sherbrooke Fusiliers, CO Lieutenant Colonel Gordon, requested help from the rest of the 2nd Canadian Armoured Brigade, but none was forthcoming. They withdrew to their starting position. It was a costly day for both sides. The Sherbrooke Fusiliers lost 21 tanks, and the North Nova Scotia Highlanders sustained 242 casualties. The Germans lost 9 Panzer IVs and suffered 300 casualties. This was Hitler-Jugend's first action. They had acquitted themselves well. Although the Germans were unable to capitalise on their victory and press on to the coast, it was to be another month before the Allies would recapture the area. The inexperienced Canadians, on the other hand, performed badly. Tank infantry cooperation left a lot to be desired. The other 2 infantry battalions in the 9th Brigade were not committed to the battle in support of their comrades, and most of the tanks of the 2nd Armoured Brigade ended the day without firing a shot. The game. Yeah, I'm just thinking, as I'm reading that stuff and sort of going through things in my head, I'm going to make the recon team irregular, so they're not going to be good troops. I'm going to bring them down to, irregular or bad troops. I'll give them minuses and morale and stuff. So I just think that's fair, considering the history of this battle. So the game, this represents the final stage of advance to capture the Carpiquet Airfield on D-Day +1. It is played on a 6x4 table. We're playing on a 5.5x4 table. There is no limit to the number of moves. All elements can only move a maximum of 12 inches on the move they enter the table. So when they enter the table, 12 inches only. German forces, elements of the SS Panzer Grenadier Regiment 25 and the SS Panzer Regiment 12 with limited artillery support. The forces are in 2 combined arms groups for morale purposes. Canadian forces, the North Nova Scotia Highlanders and the Sherbrooke Fusiliers. The forces are in 2 combined armed groups for morale purposes. A Typhoon is available each move from move 4. Ooh, so I have 4 moves to get this Spitfire sorted, which is going to be the Typhoon. German deployment. The battle group HQ and OP team are in the Abbey. The northern group are deployed on table in G1, but must remain inactive until 3 moves unless attacked. So that's that from the road around to here, this forest area. So that's square. I've also got extra lights, but I've noticed this light is bouncing off the camera. So let me just fix it. There you go. Right, so the southern group enters at G2 on move 1. So that's here again. So the southern group enter at the southern group enters at G2 on move 1. So they're going to be coming in first. The Canadian deployment, the Canadian enters at C. That's Brun. On move 1, following the order of March 1 to 8. Victory conditions. Canadians must capture Frankenville and force the 2 German groups to retire from the table. Any other result is a German victory. God, that's hard enough for the Canadians. So we have recon units obviously going first. I have this whole town set up for this recon unit according to what the book said it would be. I'll just show you. So Nova Scotia Highlanders is these guys here. So we have Iraqi Squadron, 2 stewards. Then we have a carrier platoon with a Pate, Brand Carrier, MG platoon, 3 figures, Vickers, Brand Carrier, Salt Pioneer platoon, 2 figures, Flamethrower and Brand Carrier. Then we have the anti-tank battery, M10 tank destroyer. Oh my god, I'm calling them priests. Are they not priests, M7s? No. Oh, it's been so long since I, sometimes you forget more than you actually learn. What are they, the M7s? The priest is the M7, the M10 is the tank buster. Tank destroyer, they're Achilles. Yeah, I've had 2 M7s. Oh. And I actually ordered them for this game. I must show you, I've done them recently. So, I don't know if you can see that well enough. I'm sure the light maybe. So they're priests. They're not Achilles M10s, but pretty similar. It's like the Wesp and the Martyr for the Germans. Also done a new Canadian rifle team. 2 sections. Because they followed the tanks, basically. They were the protection. Right. So, oh yeah, and then we have at the bottom a support company, which is 6 figures, 6-pounder anti-tank gun, 3-inch motor and 2 Brand Carriers. So that's in the town at present. Now they can enter up to 12 inches on the first turn. But who goes first? This is the thing about Rapid Fire Reloaded. I've heard a lot of people, not heard, but I've read a lot of people complaining about, they're confused to the turn sequence. Why don't you throw a D6 to determine who goes first? But it really is simple. It's attacker, defender, and attacker would normally go first. So we have the Germans in defence at this turn, because they're laying in wait, so they're defenders. It's the best way that I suggest you think about it when you're playing the game. Look at it, the attacker and defender. The Canadians are obviously the attacker because they're trying to go through several towns that the Germans could be occupying, so they're going to be the attackers. So they would go first. That's how I work it out in my head. A lot of people are quite annoyed that they're not sure of how the process of who goes first. All elements move up to a maximum of 12 inches on their first move entering the table. So, elements of the SS Panzer Grenadier Regiment 25, 20, Right, so where's the German? So that's the German units. Now I don't have Panzer Force, so I'm using, not too sure what I'm using. I might be using, so there's 7 altogether, but with them 3 starting off, what am I using for that? Yeah, I've only got 2 Panzer. I haven't got 4 Panzer IVs, but I thought I had 3 Stugs. I'll have to find that other Stug, or maybe I haven't built it up yet. But this is my Stugs that I'm going to use for the Panzer IVs. But I actually have a Panzer IV, but it's a wee snub nose. And I have a Panzer II. So, I mean, I see a lot of people, you know, I've actually seen read comments, people actually fretting about not having this, that, or the other. You know, you don't have to be, you can, for what models that you do have, I've probably well over 100, but you know what, they're not going to be suffice for every type of game, especially late Normandy or late war. So I just substitute. I mean, if you've got Mark 3s, Mark 2s, whatever, use them as your Mark 4s. I don't have enough Mark 4s, so I'm going to use Stugs and Mark 2s. So same with this fort. If they're coming on at the same time as the other unit, I'm just going to use 4 Panthers because I've loads of Panthers. Yeah, so that's the 5th Company, SS Panzer Regiment 12. 3 Panzers. So we'll take out the Mark II. It's too small. Plus it's 176 scale. Actually they're 176 scale. And then I've got 172nd scale. You'll notice the difference. So yep. So 75 mils. I just have to realise myself that they're acting as Mark IVs. So their stats are going to be different. Okay, so then we need 13th Gun Company, 3 figures, STK, FZ 10 to 150mm infantry gun. Now what I'm going to use for that is my big 88. Yeah, big 88. That's me ready to roll, or ready made. Stir? It's not a stir. What do you call this? STKFZ. So actually I think it is a stir. So it's you get them on the website, the Rapid Fire Reloaded website. And I'll be honest with you, they're heavy. They're easy to paint, and the details can be, most of the details I've got of these models are exquisite. So shout out to the guy that makes them. If you can actually see there, that's the material on the roof. It's like wee tiny squares. Do you know something you probably can't see yet? But it's fantastic detail, you know. So that's going to be carrying the 150mm, which I'm using an 88 for. 150mm infantry gun is, oh, it's deadly. Okay, and then we have an Opel truck 10, so basically a section. So we have an Opel truck carrying Panzerschreck, Panzerfaust, and the rest infantry. That's pretty much what the Germans did, build their sections up on, or their squads. So Panzerschreck, Panzerfaust, where are you? And then 7, the rest 7 rifle team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Panzerfaust is a 1-shot, Panzerschreck is a 2-shot. Now, sometimes it's better to base them in 2. I've started basing my guys in 2. They're harder to kill. Gives you an advantage when you're playing. And my specialised troops, I normally buy, instead of buying the box set of 48 figures, I would go out and look at grubby miniatures and other miniatures. And because I think the specialised team should be top notch compared to just your standard plastic infantry guy. So, and then we have the 13th Gun Company. I keep calling them squads, but they're companies. 3 figures. STK, no, wait, looking at the wrong one. This is the 10th Company, 3rd Battalion, 11 figures, Panzerfaust, and a MMG. The MMG is more than likely a buzzsaw or a MG42. So Panzerfaust 6 troops. Now we need a Panzer Shrek. Yeah, so we have the Panzerfaust. That's a single troop. Panzer Shrek we're missing. And 2, 4, 6, yeah. So we need a Panzer Shrek. Let me see if I have any. If not, I'm going to have to look through my box of infantry and maybe look at the cheaper ones and see if we can find some troops to make up a Panzer Shrek team. If not, I'll just order more. And a good thing also, I have like 10 or so boxes of storage boxes for the infantry and stuff, and sometimes I put infantry in the wrong boxes instead of putting them in with the Americans or the Russians or the Allied, or I put them in different places. Oh, and there we go. Panzer Faust, but I needed a Panzer Shrek team actually. So what I'll do is I'm going to take them 2 figures, I'm going to base them as a Panzer Shrek team, and that will finish that unit up. So that's the first unit for the Germans. Okay, so that's Knife Company done. Then we have the 12th Heavy Company, 3rd Battalion, 3 figures, 81mm mortar and heavy car. So I'm going to use a star for that. Actually no, I'm going to use a Cooper wagon. Where's my heavy mortar? Again, sticking where the theme I normally have is, it's either Britannia or Grubby Miniatures. That's a heavy mortar team. So actually no, I'm going to keep them. I'm going to keep the Cougar wagon for a shrimp wagon. Shrimp wagon. And I'm going to put in a stir. Let's see. Yeah, I'll put in a stir for the heavy motor. And then we have the last, which is the HQ 3rd Battalion CO plus 2 figures Cooper wagon. So Cooper wagon and CO plus 2. So there's me CO and me Cooper wagon. So that is the German 12th SS Panzer Division. Now this top bit, the battle group, it says Colonel Kurt Panzermeier. They're currently in the Abbey. So we have the spotter. Actually, what do I do with the CO? So the CO plus 2 figures, 2 figure observer team. So there should be 5 altogether. So I have the 2 figure observer team. So I need a CO plus 2 figures. CO plus 2 figures. Use him. So what is it? That is a CO plus 2 figures. That's the CO. 2 figures and 2 observer team. So this is the commander's group. So we have I'm going to use the Nebelwerfers as the artillery. They're going to be the SS Panzer Artillery Regiment 105 Howitzers off table. Now I keep them on table because I'm the guy that if I don't see them I don't use them. And with them is the observer team, which is going to be the radio team and the CO. Let's have a look at them. I suppose some people are interested in the figures. Now they're just your standard Airfix ones. And same as them. Now they're based on washers, metal washers. The Nebelwerfers, again, Britannia are grubby. I'm not 100% sure. So they're going to go down as the 105 Howitzers off table. Now, where am I going to place these? Place them to the back side of the church. Now the observer team in here. Actually, I just found my commander section. That's brilliant. So they're going to be in the church.